all I've been doing today is eating.
Happy Monday. We just finished eating. Tonight was stew, peas and carrots, and mashed potatoes. Delicious. So we just finished, and I just wanted to tell you, today we went, how many miles today? Total? Wait till you hear this.
483.
Okay, 483 miles. And how many hours did it take you to do that?
Took 9 hours and 49 minutes.
9 hours and 50 minutes. So if you do the math on that, you'd see that it's extremely low. And it was a long day. And we only went 483 miles. So it's a combination of back roads in Atlanta. So, traffic hour. But Atlanta's busy anytime you go through it. So, but mainly during traffic hour, you definitely will hit way more. And if there's an accident, you may end up spending half your day or night in Atlanta on the highway because of, excuse me, all the trouble it is to get people when there's an accident. If it's a bad one and they have to shut the highway down, it's even worse. But even fender benders can cause hours of traffic in Atlanta. Back up. But anyway, so today, if you're thinking about becoming a truck driver, to consider going out of route, which we've discussed in previous videos, out of route. If it's not feasible, then, which this one wasn't, it was too many miles out of route to take major highways. So we had to do back roads and more back roads. Back roads will slow you down. So whenever you're thinking of your ETA, and you do know that, number one, you're going to have to travel back roads primarily. And then and you're going to have to go through a major city with major traffic, such as Atlanta, Dallas, Los Angeles. I used to drive back in the day. I've mentioned that before. And a lot of times I was day driver. And most of the time I was day driver. Because day driving really didn't bother me. Traffic never got to me quite the way it does him. I'm way more laid back about it. Well, anyway, Los Angeles. Well, if you manage to make it through there and not take a wrong turn or a wrong exit, which could be horrendous if you did, and scary, and very time consuming and frustrating. But if you didn't take a wrong turn, or wrong exit rather, you were in Los Angeles 4-5 hours just to make it from south to north, or west to east. So if you're starting dead west trying to go east to get out of Los Angeles, or dead south trying to get out going north, it was about anywhere from 4 to 5 hours. So you always had to take that kind of into consideration, looking at your route. If you've got a lot of back roads, you're going to average 40 miles per hour maybe for hours. If you have, like today we had almost 200 and something miles of nothing but back roads. So it's little town, stoplight, little town, stoplight, blah, 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 blah. So, and this can tire you. You don't realize it, but it does. It makes you very tired. And so he probably could have driven another 3.5 hours maybe, according to his time. But honestly, we're finally out of Atlanta. We're finally out of the back roads. Tomorrow is just highway driving to the delivery we're going to in South Carolina. We're not going back to Dallas. We're going to South Carolina. And it was really only 100 miles to the pickup, and then 130 to the pickup, which was back roads. Then come back that way, 355 miles. So we're not that far from the receiver. However, he's exhausted. He's tired. He ate. Well, we both ate. And his blood pressure's been good. I didn't hear him yell at traffic today, which he usually does on the back roads. Or in Atlanta, especially coming through Atlanta, I normally hear him a lot. Well, I didn't today, and I got him his lunch. We had tuna fish sandwiches. I made that, and I try to keep him fed so that he's snack of popcorn, but just so that he's not just focused on bad traffic and back roads. So we talked a little today. I fed him, we ate, and then once of course we get stopped, I make the big meal, because I try not to feed him any big meals during the day while he's driving, because that will make you tired as well. So it can. Some people get very sleepy after they eat a big meal, so we don't do a big meal until right before bed. But anyway, so we've made it pretty far, but it was not a simple driving day, because there are simple driving days, and granted, nothing major happened, and that's great. But like I said, the other way of driving like that is, it's a toll on you. You don't realize it at the time, but when you're done, you're just exhausted. I felt that way when I drove through New York City. I used to have to drive in New York. Once again, I was a day driver. And coming through the boroughs on 95 or one of the other major highways up there, mainly 95, but when you're going through the boroughs, Bronx, Queens, all of that, New Jersey, Turnpike, just as bad. You are so aggressive driving, because you'll get your ass ran over up there. If nobody cares about where you are, who you are, where you have to be. Nobody cares. And the driving up there, if you don't drive aggressive, you never get a spot in line when you're trying to merge. You will never get on. You'll just be continually stuck on the side of the road, because you have to force it in there gently but aggressively at the same time, and not try to hit anybody, because you don't want that. That type of driving, I was emotionally exhausted. And this is a lot of the same thing. You long for the days that you're just interstate driving. Everything's going along smooth. Nobody's being an a-hole. Everything's going great. You get where you're going, and you don't, that you love those days. Live for those days. Love those days. Appreciate those days, because that is not the norm for the most part. And today was just an example of backroads driving, and you're on a truck route. I mean, like I've told you before, look in your Rand McNally thingy, or atlas. It will highlight trucking roads. Those are amazing. Stay on your truck. If it's not a truck route, please don't drive down it. And usually there's lots of signs up that say no trucks. Have a truck with a big red cross through it. Don't go down those roads. That's not what I'm saying. But there's thousands upon thousands, if not a million, different little roads that are truck accessible. And by golly, they take you through every little town. Some are cute. Mark and I used to sit up and I would say, oh, look at the homes. We passed some beautiful colonial homes today. So I'm not a colonial fan. He is. Just a difference of opinion. But they're fun to look at. And a lot of history. There's a lot of history in Georgia, South Carolina. There's a lot of history down here. So if you do get through a little town, you can't really stop anywhere because big trucks aren't, you know, you can stop at a truck stop outside and try to get, if you have time off, go into the little town and experience that. We have done that numerous times where we've gotten an Uber back in, or a friend lived in the area and they would come and get us and take us in and show us some of the historical sites. That's amazing. I encourage that if you have the time to do it. But if you're just trying to get from point A to point B and you've got to go through like 25 small towns, you've got to face then a major metropolis like Atlanta back to back. It's a lot. It's a lot. So give yourself some credit at the end of the day. He did. He's relaxing now. He's already eaten. And like I said, we usually give it about an hour, hour and a half, and then we go to sleep. We don't have to get up super early tomorrow, so we're blessed with that. But anyway, take care out there, drive safe, and we'll see you on down the road.